Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Hey, what's cooking, good looking, and welcome to Fumble Through!
Fumble Through!
A podcast that panics every 24 hours when it thinks about what's for dinner. Except for Brett. Brett just thinks about when's for dinner.
Why are you only thinking about dinner in 24-hour periods?
Because if Brett didn't think about dinner in 24 hours, we'd panic. That's right. That's right. We are once again here deep in the Fumble Factory, and it's raining outside where we are. This not only gives us the best conditions to play this game, but ensures that together we create a goulash of funk that could rival a zombie horde. So if we get a little tetchy, lose our patience, or just default to the grumpy old man that Luke has become, please forgive us. It's swampy, hot in here, and the fungus is starting to grow. Just picture that one right there.
It's not starting. I've got a 13-year-old who hangs out down here. It's present.
The fungus
constantly.
is starting to grow on top of the
I
mud.
wasn't sure whether you meant your fungus was 13 years old or
That's a whole different story. I've been cultivating for longer.
When it's like this, so this is when we produce our best episodes.
Is it? But
he's ruined-
we're
he's ruined
rusty
it.
Great
We're
episode
cranky with
ruined
each other.
is when there's a lot of rain.
You have ruined us. Why do you ever say
Let's see
things
if
like
that's
that?
True.
Is that because we're all a bit uncomfortable and
You were talking about
Techie?
dice. I've forgotten the word. Line.
Best episodes.
it's because
We should rename tonight Humble
Dice
Through.
traditions. Dice traditions. Superstitions.
Oh, I love it.
superstition.
Lindsay just
This is-
rebooted in real time now.
I do that a lot.
I just saw him eject a whole lifestyle and download this lifestyle.
Yeah, we spoke about dice superstitions, and that's a recording superstition that I have. Is
What, that we rain?
that whenever it's rained, we've had really good episodes, like
Right.
really impactful episodes.
Again.
I'm just saying, make it happen.
It's because the words flow so easily. The moisture in the...
Reign Supreme, I believe
Oh,
it's called.
We just drip with enthusiasm and
Good start.
I'm
I'm not
uncomfortable.
opening my eyes now.
I'm
keeping my eyes
comfortable.
closed.
All right, so I want to get right into the dicey question this week, and
Great.
I would really like to talk about something that I heard that surprised and saddened me a little. I was watching a psychologist online, so this stat must be true, and he said that around 50% of men who commit suicide have never had a history of depression or mental illness, and that actually hit me a little bit. I was like, can you imagine that there's no history, like pathological, whatever that word is, pathology.
Best episode.
You know, the pathology word? I can't say that word in normal life, even when I'm not on here.
the pathology
The
of
thing
a...
is, yeah, but you know, he suggested that, though, before you get to that, because I do want to get to the thing is, but he suggested that this correlated with a sense of thwarted belonging is the term that he used, that they
What
try
does
to
that mean?
that they try to connect and get rejected. So that when people feel like there is
Oh.
nothing for them, that life is so empty that the only hope that they have left is the idea to end everything, which really, like, I thought about that and it really stuck with me. And I thought, you know, this is one of those conversations I'd like to bring to this table because I think it's serious and I think it's one of those things that, you know, I'd like to delve into. But before we get to the actual question, what were you going to say, Luke?
The thing is, where they said like no history of mental illness, is that because they haven't sought help, and that's why they're committing suicide, and that's why
Unidentified?
they have no history of it. It's
Yeah.
because they haven't reached out and sought help throughout the however long the period of time is before they've got to the point where they've decided to
Is there a post-mortem depression analysis? Can you do that in post-mortem? Like, go, actually, the causality here is depression. It's, you know.
I think there would probably be some ways to identify that. Like,
Right.
obviously, if someone passes and they think it's
It's not clinical, like as in taking bloods or, you know.
no, but they always do like an investigation.
Right.
So, like, usually an autopsy and
investigative kind of
yeah.
outcome.
So they'd probably see certain signs that way.
I would
the
like to
20
think
dead
if they
cats
were
in the
if they
backyard.
weren't masking it well, if they weren't, I would like to think that people would be around them that would notice and maybe recommend that they go and seek help.
isn't that
whether
part
they
of the
seek
problem?
help or
They've
not.
got
But
no
that-
one-
exactly
they've
right.
got
Yeah,
no
no,
one
but
to
that's the thing. Yeah, so
reference that.
whether you could post mortem analyze whether they actually had a history of that, you'd be a bit stuck, wouldn't you?
Right.
Well, he suggests that it's a history of depression or mental illness, and by mental illness, that's the pathology of mental illness. That something's broken in your brain. You know, that idea that's the moment. And I guess maybe people seek counseling because they're feeling a certain way, but there's no actual trigger of depression. So I guess what I wanted to talk about today is what advice do we give people, and we can really only talk about our own experience in life because I've never been in that space, but I guess we all feel in the melancholies, or we all have moments where maybe we touch on that in times, but it's about people who can't connect. What are some ways that you deal with a lack of belonging or a rejection or a feeling of disconnect with the world around you? What are some things that you do to reconnect, or that we could maybe talk about that might help other people to think about that?
I think with the way the world is now with the internet, everyone has...
You have never sounded older in your life.
It's got to happen
the
a
way
bit.
the world is now with that danged internet.
It's got to happen at some point. There is clans for everyone out there. Like the weirdest stuff that you can think you'd be into, there is someone out there that's into that. There's a group or a community out there that you can communicate with. And I think a lot of it is not being too afraid to get out there and make those connections. And unfortunately, there may be some rejections, or you might reach out to this community and it's not the same as you were expecting it to be. But like, you know, there is a world of furries and bronies and anything you can think of that.
I know where Lindsay's been spending his weekends.
Yeah, with the Lindies.
Yeah, he went straight there. But what do you? Okay, so I guess maybe this is a nice way of clarifying. So you've sought out a group. You've thought this is going to be the thing that connects me. This is the thing I'm interested. You've got your courage up, and sometimes it's really hard to go to a new space and meet people. You get apprehensive. You get all those emotions that come with it. You go there, and it's either not what you thought it would be, or the people are disconnected with you still, or you feel like that group isn't for you. There's a rejection, and you walk away feeling deflated or rejected or still disconnected. What are the strategies of dealing with that? Like, you know, in that moment, obviously, when you think about it logically, you go and try again, but there's still a moment of emotion that comes back.
Coming back to the provocation, though, is it's someone who's bereft of the tools to do that. They don't have the tools to go out and join a group or seek a group or find them online, because then they don't, like, if they did, they'd have their group, right? They'd have their clan.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that. So the causality is they don't have the tools for that. And without someone if you have no one around you to kind of provoke that, then no one's telling you how to do that. There's no kind of impetus to kind of grow from that. I don't know how that works. I have no idea how, like, it makes no sense to me that you can't find a connection. I hate going to, big groups and trying to fit in, and, I always feel like I'm on the outside, and it's very hard to break into those groups. I kind of get that idea, but if you can't even get to the group, if you don't have a group that you go with that might make it safe for you, it's totally alien to me.
To me, there's baby steps. So, like, for example, one of my first kind of like interactions into making friends outside of school was I used to play World of Warcraft a lot. And I had a guild in there that we used to raid all the time and I used to talk to all the time. And, after a couple of years, we said, let's go to the pub, and we made our connection online. And that's happening more and more, the way we can just communicate with anyone across the globe. That's what we're doing right now is we're streaming out to people, making connections. Whether or not they make a connection back, that's something totally up to them. But like, I don't know. I think there's connections everywhere. It's the internet.
What's your take on this, Luke? You're quiet.
Yeah. Look, I don't like to I think the online thing is a bit of an odd space. And I get that there's a lot of that gets used in this day and age. Sorry to sound too old. But there is a lot of negativity within that space as well, which I think can be problematic for somebody that is especially already struggling with their mental health. And I think we saw a large amount of that happen during the COVID period, where online really wasn't enough for people, and what people crave was actual physical interactions. And I don't mean that in a weird way,
like energy interaction.
Yeah. Like actual, like face to face, kind of thing. And I mean, for me, when you talk about what it is that I've always done or enjoyed doing when I've been in these sorts of spaces, is that it goes back to some of that kind of classic advice when you're in these sorts of headspaces, is to be physical. So exercise is always a good one. Yep. And what I've always done is engaged in some form of martial art training. And the reason I've done that is obviously I'm interested in it. You don't necessarily have to be martial arts, but one of the things that I find in that space is really good, going back to what Brett was talking about getting into a group, is there's always a good cycling of new people in this place anyway. No matter when you go there, there's always the beginners, there's always the intermediates, and there's always the advanced people. So you're not the only one that's turning up as a complete ignoramus in what you're doing.
And you kind of are forced to partner with different peoples.
It does. Yeah.
And you're all beginners, and you're all trying to make friends. So there's a kind of neutral space there, isn't it?
And it's the kind of, obviously the importance of running a club is to make sure that those new beginners feel as welcome as possible. So it's really gentle entry into a space that you might find uncomfortable.
That's what she said.
Always comes back to that initial, like, stepping out into that space, identifying that, I'm not feeling okay. I need more than what's going on right now, because what's going on is not enough for me. And then making that step. That's where the challenge is for, I think, people. And certainly for me,
the emotional space there is, I don't want to go out.
Exactly.
I just want to stay home. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to seek.
Yeah.
I'm too vulnerable to step outside of my front door, let alone step into a class.
I can get up in the morning and go like, I can't wait to go training tonight. And then have a shocking day and be in the car drive on the way and be like, I'm still good. And then get home. And the minute I sit on that sofa, I'm like, my mood just shifts completely. And I'm like, no, I can't be bothered to do it now.
Yeah. On that point of all these suggestions, we're not experts.
No.
And one of the things I highly recommend of when I've been suffering from anxiety and stuff is talking to someone who a professional, like
not like the real estate agent.
No.
They're a professional, but not in this space.
Yeah. Like my psychologist is probably been the person that has changed my life for the better in the last 10 years that I can think of, maybe next to this group.
That's after a wife and 2 kids, right?
I've known them. Well, the kids, mental health wise, besides the group, she's the psychologist is second, because there's something totally different about talking to someone that has no stakes.
Yep.
In your life, kind of thing. Like,
you had me at stakes.
Like you can just talk to them freely, and they're not going to judge you over anything you're saying, or they're not going to take sides, because that's
and you don't
their
have to
job.
be anyone in the room. You can just be you.
Yeah. They're and I don't see my psychologist anymore. But sometimes I just get so fed up with people not listening to me that I go and I want to call my psychologist and just talk about random shit.
Wow, I feel that was a barbed shot there.
Because
if the shoe fits.
I guess on that note,
you're off the hook there, Luke.
If you Google men's health in there's always somewhere close. Like, I think every state, wherever you are, if you Google that, like it's a moment away to find somebody to talk to online in crisis. But I guess for me, it's before we get to crisis, when we're starting to feel that way. There are things that we do that might connect you or that make you feel better. I agree with you, Luke, 100%. I think exercise sometimes can be a way of getting frustration out. Going for a walk through the bush, like there is definitely research showing that the movement of leaves, the rustle, the sound, all of that stuff is actually quite calming and quite good for you. Like I find that really therapeutic. It's probably as far from connection to people as I get, because I strap into an audiobook or something, and I find it's very
Glad you said audiobook.
it's quite therapeutic for me. But it does. There is still that moment of connection to people. Like I get a world where you don't go out because you've got a foretold doom and stuff.
I want to challenge the idea of that, because I think we've got a very preconceived idea of what aloneness might be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wonder. I think I've experienced where my life is so busy that I have no real connection in my day, that I'm really alone, but I've got no time to make connection. That, I think about my day today, and I sat down feeling that way today because I was tired. I got up at 6:30 and I didn't stop till, well, I haven't stopped. I sat down here, I got to work doing this thing. I've been, pottering away at other bits doing this, but I've not been to the toilet today. I didn't wee yet. Right. I haven't had my 10 o'clocksies. I haven't stopped.
So what do you do for yourself?
But I don't feel like I'm connected to people, because it's all work stuff. It's all servicing other people's agendas. It's nothing about me. It's about me kind of paving the way for other people's agendas. And I get some reward out of that. So I don't feel bereft as such, but I feel compressed. I feel super compressed, and there is some loneliness in that because you don't get to connect with someone else. I'll get out of that because I've got people to connect with. This is one of those things that kind of helps me to kind of unpack that. I've just done half of that work. I'll talk to my wife about it. She's very good at that. The argument we had when she came home didn't help, but we'll work through that. But that's all part of it, right? That's me going, my emotional space is I need a safe person to have a hard conversation with, and she was it today. And then 5 minutes later, she's down and we're fine, and she's tasting the root beer that I bought today, and, we're okay. But I think other people don't have those mechanisms. They don't have the release valves, where aloneness might not be that you don't have people to connect with. It might be that you're not connecting with people.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, Luke? And this is a wondering of mine. As somebody who is connected to faith as well, does that play with you in terms of a connectedness that you find in going with a group of people with your faith, the church? Does that give you a root connection? Because I often hear you talk about people that you meet and you go out with people, and it's a community that you've developed around
instant community. Though the minute you go from one place to another, if your faith is based in the area that you are, there's that commonality, common ground already. So like we were talking about finding your people, that's immediate because you have shared values in that space immediately as soon as you walk through the door.
Those values, my assumption is that they make it accepting, that people welcome you in 100%. Automatically. There's no one standing at the fringe of that crowd. Yeah. Everyone's gets brought in and folded into kind of.
And that's not to say that every space you go into with that faith is going to be right for you. It took a little bit of shopping around I'll give you a good example. When we first, so I'm going to speak to something that Lindsay said as well. When we first moved to Australia 10 years ago, we started from scratch. And the thing is, like, as you move to another area in your 30s, like other 30-year-olds are well established. So they've breaking into those spaces are really difficult. So I actually had a very dark era around that space, because not only did we move away from absolutely everything that we had, so it was me, Sarah, and a 1-year-old, Elise. And I left a job that I built a fair amount of my identity around over there, and then had to just let it go. And because I didn't want to do that kind of thing when we came here anyway, because of shift work and stuff. So I found myself without a job, loss of identity to an extent, and sitting around while my wife went off and did all the work. And it was a pretty crisis situation in terms of my identity, understanding my identity. So there were two things that really saved me in that the early part of that. Sorry, three. The first one is having a great relationship with my wife. So she is my best friend. There's no doubt about it. So any issue I go through, unless it's specifically something that we are struggling with, which then obviously then the counsellors come in very handy to help us work through help me work through some of that. We end up working through it anyway. But anything else, she is the sounding board. So having her there in that space was fantastic, although I know I was incredibly difficult during that time. But the other two was Taekwondo. So coming up from over in the UK and then being able to go, once we had enough money to go into that space and do that. But prior to that was going into the church and meeting people and just building community instantaneously. And it didn't work great every single time, first of all. So it took us a while to shop. I hate the word shopping
to find
around.
the right
Yeah,
fit.
to find the right fit. Because one thing that was here that we never had really in the UK is like mega churches. Like you've got churches here that are huge.
Yeah.
Like, and you are a drop of water in the ocean. So that the connectivity in that sense can be quite difficult. So it took us a while to find some smaller, like more UK sized churches.
Where you get noticed, I guess?
Yeah, you get noticed
or
anyway, but like
you can become part.
It's easier to transition into that space of like when you go every week, people start recognizing you.
You're part of the
How's your week?
congregation, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely right.
is that also, can I answer, because having my experience of churches are very older generational,
Right.
and it's often going there and looking around and going, there's no one my age in this. Like, is that also part of looking for a congregation?
Yeah. So we
that's-
that was, for example, we tried one that was very young. Like, so a lot of the people that were attending that particular church were in their early 20s, which was a hard pill to swallow to
How
start
do you
off.
find them? You just go
They're
and try?
Well, here, yeah. I mean, like you look them up. I mean, here, we're crazy amount of churches here in Australia. Like certainly in Brisbane, like you can spit and you hit either a church or a chip shop or something like that. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane how many churches are here, and obviously lots of different denominations, lots of different sizes, lots of different flavors, and all that sort of stuff. So it's very easy to find something that sits more comfortably with you for sure. But yeah, tremendous help in terms of being able to engage with people with a common set of values or a common worldview or yeah, just common beliefs. So like it doesn't have to be church. You can obviously any group with a common set of beliefs that you share with. It could be like atheists.
Anonymous.
I was going to say anonymous, but I didn't. It's
Flat
just roll off the tongue.
Flat earthers.
AA, I think is what
That's
they
it.
call that.
Yeah.
'Cause I guess I thought about this, and this is probably why it struck me, because I've gone through times, and I'm not saying I've been there, but I've gone through times where I've been with my wife since I was 14. I've had family all around me. I've been surrounded. On paper, I could sit down and go, this is the dream life that I've had, right? But there are definite times in my life where I have felt so disconnected, and kind of what you said, Brett, like everything, the color just fades out of everything. Like eating dinner, I can sit there trying to watch a show. I'm not interested in a show. I can try and do my favorite things. I'm not interested in those favorite things. I'm not interested in talking. I'm not interested in being around my children. I'm not interested in anything else. And I feel like those are the times when I find a real disconnection with the world around me. And I find that I'm so unplugged with the life that I'm at. And I really have to sit back and force myself to take note and go, like, I think of a time specifically when my kids were quite young. I'd moved jobs. So I was going through a bit of a change. So I didn't have that connection. There were lots of things going on in my life, but I also, my wife, because we had kids, was connected into that. And so that connection pulled away, and it changed our dynamic of a relationship. And then also sitting there and just going, I don't know where I fit in the world. So I see parts of that. I of course, I don't know what that's like, because I never got to a point where I thought, it's so bad I don't fit in anywhere. But to try and plug myself back into the world, I think some of that was really a conscious, forced effort on my part of you do something every day that's small. Like it's that same thing about exercise that you said. I
Make the bed.
Well, I heard Simon Sinek, for example, who is out there, and he can be quite wise sometimes. He said, you go to the gym and you come home and you look in the mirror and nothing's changed. But that doesn't mean you stop going to the gym. You keep going to the gym 20 minutes a day. Eventually, at some point, you will notice a change. And I think when I felt disconnected, it was do something that is different. Like do something that will try and plug you in. So that's when I go, I used to love painting miniatures. let's paint a miniature every day, every day, every day. And eventually maybe you fall in love with that thing again. Or if you don't, you find something else. And then all of a sudden, I guess that's when the spark happens and the colors come back into my life, because I'm fixated on something, or I'm interested in something, because it's that interest that I find devolves. But that's kind of my theory of getting out of it, is force yourself to do something.
Same thing with like on occasions where I've either not wanted to go training or not wanted to go to church, and like I've forced myself, or Sarah's kind of like come alongside me and said, no, we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And like then having done it, feel like a million times better for doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like going, why was I so adamant that I didn't want to go when I'm going to enjoy it. Same like with building miniatures and things like that. Just the other day, moaning about how I'm fed up with all the stuff that I've got and all the things that I'm doing, and I haven't got time to do this, that, and everything else. And I actually made the conscious effort to put the time aside to build something, and then was like, yeah, that's amazing. And like kept going back to the shelf and like looking at them in different lights and like thinking about how I'm going to paint them and stuff like that. And took great joy in that.
Is that your go-to? Like, do you guys have a go-to when you feel like, first of all, I guess, is that like what I just described as something that's common to everyone? I've never really talked about that disconnectedness.
No, just you.
The thing, the black and whiteness of that. I don't know how else. In Pathfinder, they talk about gnomes when they don't go adventuring, losing their colors, and the bleaching. And I that resonated with me in those moments, because I find I do have melancholic cycles, and I do have moments that are like that. I'm almost on the tail end of one of those now, and I can sit in a room and be really like this, but then all of a sudden I'm at home and I'm just like, I'm so disconnected, and I do cover that with people as well. I find I hide that from people, so you might not know that, because I'll be like, this is the mask goes on, and then because I don't like emotion, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about it.
And it's very easy to put masks on, right?
It's so easy to put masks on.
We do it here for a living.
Lindsay's got one on right now. He's Phantom of the Opera and stuff. But yeah, so I guess I know that I've got a trigger in my mind. I've got a slot car set that I bought myself when I was 18. And when I get my slot car set out, that is a trigger to most people that know me that I'm going through some shit, because I'll get that thing out and I will sand the little things and I will put it all together and I'll piece it. And I've been doing that for years. And that's kind of the moment where it's a trigger for me, or a sign that when my wife especially looks at me, she's like, what's going on? You know, that's one of those things.
What a slot car?
The slot car set. You know, like the cars with the little
Electrics. Gotcha.
It's an AFX one with a loop. It's a Thunder Loop thriller.
That sounds fun.
With lots and lots of other bits on it. It's almost dead now. I've used it for therapy so many times and stuff, because I've never talked to someone. I've always thought I'd like to, but I'm very scared of it. I'm very scared of what'll come out.
Just do it.
I'm scared of
I haven't been to therapy. My wife's done it and swears by it. You guys swear by it.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think it's a very positive thing. I just
can't recommend it more highly.
I don't need it. I'm perfect.
But what if I go though, and then I like all the emotions happen, and I can never put the emotions away?
Here's the thing.
So that's a good thing.
We'll never know, because they're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, but what if I'm changed and I come in here and I'm just like, I love you guys. I'm happy to be here. And I'm genuine about it. You'll all look at me and then
that'd be fucking weird.
Then you'll kick me out because you're like, whoa, I'm not comfortable with that.
I'm not comfortable with you pretending.
I'd be okay with that.
No, don't ever do that again.
It'd be on drugs.
Don't even pretend that might happen.
Yeah.
We'd assume you're on drugs. It'd be fine.
Well, yeah.
I struggle with the opposite. I'm like so overwhelmed. My happy place is just leave me the fuck alone for 5 minutes.
Is that part of you being an introvert?
I was going to say, do you think
you get energy from
I'm an
weird,
introvert.
when you consider the profession that you're in,
well,
being an introvert seems...
There's an extroverted introvert, right? You love being out there, but you don't need to be the one that's out there, or it takes me a lot of energy. So today, extraordinarily hard day for me, because I was with people, coaching people, guiding people, helping people. I love the work, but it's massively draining on me. And then I came home and my oldest has got homework issues and my youngest has got going to school issues, and my wife didn't get home till 7:10, but was in the car talking to a friend because she's got shit she's needing to unpack and, all of that stuff. And I sit down here tonight and I'm like, oh, now I've just got to do a download of the SD card for the show so we can get ready for the show. And, where's my character sheet at? Oh, shit, it printed and it doesn't have color. None of my spells have names right now. I've got to write the spells on top of that sheet.
Just leveled up.
Right,
I've got to finish doing that. Then Justin gave us money the next week.
Well, all of those things, I'm like, and at work, I've got a to-do list that's as long as my arm, and some of it's really outstanding, and I need to get it done. I'm like, I just need someone to not want something from me for 5 minutes. I just need to just sit in the corner and be alone and kind of put the pieces back where they belong in my body so that I can meet the world again.
Are you introvert or extrovert?
You're like
Lindsay?
a broken game of Operation, but instead of taking stuff out, you're trying to put it back in.
Are you introvert, extrovert, do you reckon?
I don't know. I always thought I was an introvert, and then COVID happened, and I realized I missed people. And everyone at work says I'm an extrovert, but I kind of feel like I'm a bit like Brett. Like, it takes me a lot of energy to go out and do things.
I love it. I love the people. It just, I love being in the room. I don't need to be doing all the work.
Like, if you ask my wife, all I ever want to do is stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I don't know. Stop trying to label me, Justin.
I was just interested. What about you, Luke?
Well, I think I'm an extrovert.
Oh.
In the last 5-6 years, I've come to realize that maybe I enjoy being around people far more than I enjoy being on my own. But there are times when I need to just disconnect and allow some part of my warp core to recharge before it goes critical mass. Because there are times when, like, I am not necessarily engaging with people, but like recently, a lot more things are on my plate at the moment, and that combined with being extroverted, there are times when I'm just like, if I don't get off the merry-go-round, I am literally going to die.
Yeah.
And I just need those moments. But like you say, you come home and there's kids and there's dishes and
It's
there's
always
food
something.
to cook and kids to get
Every
to bed.
off-road is another freeway.
Yeah.
But
Exactly right. Yeah. That's
I-
a great analogy.
I also think that, you can be an introvert, but you need some extroverted moments and vice versa. So I know that I'm an extrovert, and I know this because walking in the city, like, I'll be totally alone, headphones in, having a walk through the city, but because there's people around, I'm energized. I find energy out of just being around humans. Like, the idea of living in New York City, even if I'm not talking to anyone, and just walking the streets at night when it's alive and it's happening and stuff, that just feels like right now.
You've
I'm like,
never been to New York, have you?
No, but the idea of it.
money.
I said the idea of it. But I don't want to engage with people. I don't really want to need to talk to people in there. But just walking down the Brisbane City Mall, if just down there, a busker playing, an energy here, these people laughing, those people interacting, this guy walking, this guy yelling at people at the sky or whatever. Those are the things that I find I get a lot of energy out of. And that's why the vocation I've chosen is around people, because I find people actually give me the energy. But then there's also the adverse of that, where sometimes I just need alone, home, dark, unplug all of it, silence, me, just me, and this awful head and stuff. Any last thoughts before we move on?
I just want to reiterate that there is, for people who are, however you might be struggling, and no matter how big or small, get on top of it, talk to a professional. There are, Lifeline, Men's Helpline, all of the lines, use them. They're really, really useful. And I think do not be afraid to pick it up. The people are the best people at the other end of the line, and they have your best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Luke? Any last thoughts?
Try and get out there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Try and engage with the world. You're not on your own.
Yep.
Same as Brett, but not all the lines. Stay away from cocaine.
That's good advice. Look,
And train lines.
Can I say, look, I know, again, we're not professional. We're just dudes sitting in a room. But look, sometimes listening to something like this helps. Sometimes listening to people talk about this. So if it has helped, we hope it's helped. If it gives you anything at all that you can take away, look, that's, I guess that was the intent of this. So if we come across like total morons who know nothing, we're sorry about that. But guess what? We're morons who know nothing.
Also, if you did find it useful, get in touch, because there's probably stuff on the cutting room floor that you might want to get access to.
So we are back into it, guys. We are finally in the Black Ross Museum. You have made your way in. You've met the dude himself, Nigel Aldane, and he has talked to you. What? Yes, rather. I'm sorry.
Cluster fluff.
Yeah, cluster fluff.
I've used that 3 times since last episode.
Excellent. That makes me happy to see. But what you have done, you've gone into the Black Ross Museum. You've travelled down into the basement. Do we remember who we are in search of?
The daughter, and her name is Imrazade from Assyria, and she has a metal cylinder.
She does.
Black Ross.
She's just come back from Osiriani territories with as a tomb raider, as you will, like an Indiana Jones type.
Dora the Explorer.
So several other parties have been sent down to get her out, but they've not come back either.
Well, they're the guards.
Yeah,
So Nigel Aldane has said that parts of some of the guard from the actual museum have been sent down, but none of them have returned. So he has approached the Pathfinders. The Pathfinders approached the mayor approached the deputy mayor approached the sheriff.
Chewed his ass.
Chewed his ass off and told him. No, but eventually, because you guys have made such inroads with all of the
He asked
groups.
4 months ago, and that's just filtered down to the people that are doing it, right?
Yeah, that's how long
There's been 15 reports written.
that's how long stuff takes to happen. But yeah, so you guys have done that. You've moved into the Black Ross Museum. You've gone to like a little ziggurat at the back of it that has wooden doors that are open that are big enough for a cart to come through.
Can you have a little ziggurat?
You've gone.
I don't know what a ziggurat is.
It's like a step pyramid.
I keep thinking of Juggernaut from X-Men.
I
Time you
googled
say
it last time because I'm like, can you have a little ziggurat? And it said a ziggurat is a massive structure.
Yeah,
It's a little massive structure.
It's a small version of a step pyramid. So maybe 3 steps. Maybe a little Minecraft.
It could be a massive
a
ziggurat
Minecraft
to a
house.
halfling.
Yeah.
You know, or something.
It was to Reg.
Yeah, it was huge.
How dare you?
Yeah.
To your sprite, what's her name?
Yeah. The
Cinder.
dragonfly.
Cinder. To Cinder, it's massive. But yeah, so you've gone down into there. I think, I assume it's just there for like aesthetic reasons and it covers the entry to the basement where they obviously store stuff. You've gone down the ramp into storing stuff. You've gone into one of the rooms, the one onto the left, I believe, wasn't it? I can't even remember.
The number 1.
Yeah, oh, that's right. It was
Door
number 1. It
number
wasn't
one.
left. It was door number 1. And now we are at 5 rounds into a combat
And I just did something awesome by making Reg big.
with two
that's right. That's
statues. So
It's
two
true.
statues with large swords have come to life into this room. Reg is face to face with one of them. Now medium-sized Reg, they call him.
Also, I lose
So,
AC.
the
everything,
normal link-
everything
Yeah.
is gone.
Very
to
ordinary
pot.
Reg.
The normal Ling. Tyr is also face to face, base to base with one of them, and then
the
behind that,
sword that's got cracks all through it.
yes, from hitting stone. A stone plinth will do that to your weapon. And then behind them, with some distance, is both Miles and Flopsy. And that brings us to the top of round number 6. Tyr, what are you doing?
She's going to try and grapple the creature again.
Oh,
She tried it last time and didn't work. But she thinks maybe throwing it on the floor might break it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Her grapple is CMB.
That's correct. Brett's rolled a d20, he's adding his CMB. Now, this is versus the CMD of this creature.
25.
That will beat the CMD of this creature. And
That's
now
great.
we have entered the most complex rule system in all of Pathfinder.
about that.
Grappling.
Oh, shit.
The grappling.
Yes.
There are stages of
All
grappling.
kinds of
There's-
whelmed right now. Over and under.
I believe that in the past we have actually had a flowchart taped to
We
the
did.
wall.
I'm getting it.
Is it still there? It's literally around the corner from where I can see, where the players could see it and the GM couldn't. There is a grapple chart that we've pulled down, and Brett is grabbing it off the wall
I've
as we
always-
speak. That's been there for what, 5 years, I reckon.
I remember when you first told me about how difficult the grappling was and how annoying it was for shutting down combat, and I've always wanted to do a grappling monk.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Well,
I went
up
for
there,
a tripping one instead.
up
This-
there
this
is a
little
list
easier.
on grappling, a list
Yeah.
on poison, and a list on sundering, I think.
So I believe as the grappler right now, Tia has advantage. So your grapple checks are made with +5.
you get an attack of opportunity first, thanks.
Oh, I get an attack
Did
of
he do that already?
opportunity.
Oh, no, you just yeah.
No.
True.
Okay.
You need improved grapple for that, don't you, to get avoid that?
Correct. I just read it on the chart here in front of me. First thing does.
Deary my, I'm just going to roll again.
No, this is not
So here's a question. If he successfully makes the attack in the attack of opportunity phase for the initial grapple, do you fail to grapple if he successfully smacks you in the face?
Attack of opportunity. Was the attacker hit by this attack? Yes. Attacker takes damage normally and then receives a penalty to his CMB check equal to the damage received.
Yes.
Snap.
Oh my days.
So I would like to preface Smug Look because that went from a critical to a non-critical, but I think it's going to hit, given the misfortune situation of both of them.
So sorry to interrupt again. Another question.
Yeah, of course.
If you beat, like trip, if you beat by 5 or 10, you get to then trip the person who tried to trip you if it failed that badly. Is it the same with grapple? No.
No.
You just take a whopping amount of
No,
damage.
trip's the only thing that does that, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe disarm? I can't remember. No, I think it's only trip.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. 'Cause
Yeah.
You totally stuff it, you end up losing your own balance. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Continue.
So the question that I've got for you, Tia, is a 24 enough to hit you?
It does hit.
Okay. So given that 20... I'm going to just pick this up. Oh, God. That dice is going away. That was terrible.
1 damage.
9 points of damage.
Does a 14 grapple, Justin? No, 16 grapple.
You know what, Brett? Meets it, beats
Oh,
Suck it.
Despite a
One
smack to the
more
face.
point of damage,
Oh.
and that would not. So the
Ouch.
pommel of this metal sword just cracks Tia across the bridge of her nose. She
shakes
sees
it off.
white. She gets that feeling in her cheeks and her nose, but yet she still comes forth and grabs
The
this
same way
big
that Darth
stone.
Vader lifts up the Emperor at the end of Jedi.
Yeah, I love it. Reginald, what are you going to do?
So have I still got one of those things right in front of me?
Yeah, you do.
So I'm going to take a full round action and flurry.
Okay.
So having reached, like, obviously now I'm face to face with this thing, right, rather than face to knee. Okay, so so I'm going to go and just go for a straight jab cross. However, somewhat impeded now by my new and
And just remember, it's a
unprepared
big
size.
stone plinth that's moving
Yeah,
around.
so I get a -2 to my hit attack rolls because
Oh,
I'm
dear.
dex based.
But your damage would stay
Hang
the
on.
same, wouldn't it?
But
Or does
does
damage
it
go
have
up?
to be dex based?
Well, yeah, because I got weapon finesse. That's the whole.
Yeah, but you don't have to use.
If your
weapon
strength has
finesse.
increased,
No, if I take it as that'd be
It's still
even
even
worse.
lower.
That would be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't hit.
does your damage increase though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you go up a dice.
Yeah.
Go to D8, right?
And I also get +2 on the damage already because I get +2 to my strength.
yeah.
So does the question now? So the jab comes in, misses wide, comes swinging around
Just
with the cross.
give me the numbers because you would be surprised. It's a giant statue.
Okay,
Missing
so the
it's pretty
first,
hard.
so the first hit was a 7.
No, not that
Yeah, okay, right, okay, thank you. I had a feeling. 21. Does a 21 hit?
bad. Yes.
All right, here we go.
What does that
Payback
look
time.
like, Reg?
So yeah, so the first jab goes in, just misses wide because just totally misjudging his size now. So everything's all out of proportion. So then he comes around with this massive haymaker of a hook straight into the face of this statue. So D8, you say?
Like a teenager who's just
That's
the
right, yeah.
lamb.
Stay away from my girl. Okay, so this is a +3 with strength as well on a D8. So this could possibly be my
The Reggie
biggest.
3.
My biggest is
Hang on.
already
the
in.
new
It's
Reggie
already
4.
in.
The new Reggie 4.
I don't understand.
So the minimum is a Reggie 4.
The minimum is the Reggie 4. Here we go. I'm going to set a new record.
Are we in the tier echelons of damage?
No, we're not really. That's 6 damage.
Oh, he looks so.
I don't
Double
understand,
damage.
Reg.
So,
So you've got +3 to strength.
Yep.
So how is punching with strength not better than punching with
because
dex?
his dex
to
is
hit.
still
The
plus.
idea is just to hit. Now I've only managed to achieve 1 strike, so I might have been able to get through with a different second strike. So I'd have had double amount of damage rolling.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that with when normally, but now that you have strength, I don't understand.
His dex is still higher than his strength, even with the negative.
Yes,
Ah,
my dex
yeah.
is +4.
Yeah.
My strength is +1. So with the +2
Gotcha.
for size is then +3. So it's still not as good as my dex.
gotcha.
Yeah. It's not +2 to your modifier. It's +2 to your actual score. So it's only a +1 to the damage.
Oh, well, there we go. Then that's made it even worse.
Yeah.
Is it
Well, you-
negative
5
1 though
points
too,
of
right?
damage. Yeah, 5 points of damage.
Is that -1 though to your other stats instead of -2 that you've been calculating? So your armor class isn't so bad.
What is good about this hit, Reg, while you are looking about that, is that your weapons, your hands
Are magical.
are now they're magical things, so they cut through some DR. So you see cracks form upon this creature, whereas at
Right on the cheek.
last level, you wouldn't have actually done any damage whatsoever. However, this level, Reggie's cracking on. That brings us to Flopsos.
Oh shit!
Now,
Sorry.
Brett, out of game,
Yeah.
you messaged me.
Flopso.
I know. Flopso the clown. You messaged me and you said that you'd done some crafting because I did forget
had.
to give you money. You've used this money.
Yeah.
You've done some selling. You've done some all of that stuff. Did you share any money with everybody else?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did a party kind of divvy out. We didn't include you in that because we don't want you to know how much we've actually got in the coffers.
It's not enough, is what I'm hearing. What are you doing?
If we pull our money, we might be able to get something nice. We could get a nice B&B for the weekend
This
or
is why
something.
we can't have anything nice.
I'm just thinking about Flopsy and figuring out when, increasing someone's size grinds the game to a halt. Grappling grinds the game to the halt.
What could Flopsy possibly do to
how
grind the
Flopsy
game
might
to a halt?
Just add to that thing.
4 episodes later, grapple check.
Flopsy's going to start brewing a potion.
Round 2, yeah.
This is like a certain duel that was played.
Yeah, right.
There's round after round of ineffectualness.
That was iconic.
Flopsy pulls out a vial, puts a little drop of acid on his finger and flicks it out at the creature not in grapple, the other one.
Okay, the one in front of Reg.
Yep. Yeah. And
Reggie's used to splash back now. He's just expecting it now. He's doubled his size.
that is a...
I'm flexing in between fight
acid
rounds.
splash
Reggie's
to
flexing
hit.
like, yeah, Hulk
An orb of acid?
20 to hit, no, a little acid splash. Just
Okay.
a little dot of flicked off the finger. It grows in the air with the magical incantation and hits the creature.
Yes.
And 20 hits, right?
Oh, yes.
For 4 points of damage.
Oh, 4 points of acid damage. You see
Anything?
another bit of pitting and pocking and
Seems to be
marking.
working very, very
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
And then Flopsy moves back a little bit. Just away, just out of reach of
Oh.
any of those big wooden stone hands that have seem to be doing
What is
significant
happening?
damage.
We're going to start with the statue that's in front of Reg because it's the one that can actually do something right now that isn't going to take us 1.5 miles of rules to actually figure out what to do. So it's just going to do what it does best and swing at you, Reginald, and that will be a 22 to hit you.
Even without the reduction in bonuses, that would have hit me.
I'm just selecting a D8 that I trust right now because they're all shit. And I'm not happy with my dice at the moment. And guess what? Pretty consistently, 9 points of
Nine.
damage as a giant stone greatsword swings straight into your side. And, where you are, you'd usually duck that. You're looking at it
nimble
and you
and-
just boom, straight, boom, and cop it straight to the side, doing some bruising of your side. Now,
Super descriptive.
well, you know what actually happened there? It
You're looking for lumber?
It dawned on me what was about to happen next, and I was like reaching for dice, and I'm like, oh, grapple. Here we go.
Well, Justin,
I
let me
need
tell
to
you what you can.
break the grapple.
That's
No,
a very
let me tell you what you could.
colourful chart. I reckon that'd be a great T-shirt print.
It's it was a third party thing. Isn't
I
it?
do have a T-shirt like this, but this is will I get laid tonight?
It just has.
Similarly as complicated.
It just
Every
has.
answer ends with no.
Yeah, maybe,
but it goes through 15
no.
steps to get there.
Maybe no.
Have you seriously got a T-shirt? Like, oh, again, I would buy that T-shirt.
That's funny. All right, go. What can I
You
do?
can
What are my
either
options?
attempt to become the controlling grappler
Yep.
or hit me,
Yep.
like make an attack with a attack action that is light or one-handed weapon only. Attack or full
Stone
attack,
Fist, light-handed.
light or one-handed.
Like one-handed. Light-handed.
Otherwise, you can become the grappler or that's it. That's your choices.
Take it or leave it.
Okay, I'm looking at this around an intelligence.
Or any other thing you might do, like cast a spell, is a possibility,
they
but you require two hands to do the thing.
All right. I think given the idea of intelligence of this, it's just going to continue to try and pummel
Okay.
that's its
Does it
intent.
drop its sword?
It can't. The sword is actually built into its hand.
Is it a large
so to the
two-handed
point
sword?
where this thing can't even be disarmed if you wanted to.
But it's
because
not a light sword, right? It's not a
part
light
of
weapon?
it. No, but it's going to smash you with its fist.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Is that an improvised weapon? Has it got
No, it's got a fist and a sword.
that?
So
Has
Has it got improved
improved
unarmed
unarmed?
combat?
technically, it has. It is.
Here we go.
Technically,
Let me get the other chart off the wall, Justin.
neither of them are.
It's a classed a weapon. His fist is classed a
Yeah,
weapon.
because it's a construct. It's
Sounds
own
like
weapon.
bullshit to
It's-
me.
That sounds bullshit.
But it's a construct, so that's
You can-
good. I just gave that away. Guess what, Tia?
you can
it's
take
gonna fucking miss.
a penalty to that attack.
Don't
Thanks.
worry about it. I don't even think it was 13 before the penalty.
Okay, well, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, I don't think that it can do anything. So that's their go. Miles, what you gonna do?
Miles can go, look at you, Reg. I'm not done yet. And that cackle was to extend his misfortune on both the creatures. And
Okay,
he's
moving on.
And then he's going to be like, Cinder, cast bull strength on a regular Reg.
Regular Reg.
On regular age. So you see Miles casting his spell into Cinder.
What does bull strength do?
+4.
To strength.
Ooh. It's +2 to hit, +2 damage.
That's better.
That's a win.
Is pretty mighty, actually. Tia, round number 7.
T's going to try and maintain the grapple.
All right.
Fuck.
I assume Tia's a pretty corded, muscular lass.
Oh, she is. She is. So you are on a penalty to all of your.
You get +5?
I get +5, but don't you get a
No.
penalty? Okay.
No, you just get +5 because you're the controlling grappler.
I rolled a 3, +5 is 8, plus my CMB is 18.
That is going to do, my friend.
And then she's going to try and pin you.
So what do you have to do with that?
I just pin you.
So once you control and pin,
So I'm reading it through. As a standard action, the controlling grappler rolls a CMB check with a +size bonus against the defender. Pass. Controlling grappler is now the attacker. Attacker may choose to perform any one action listed as part of a standard action: injure, move, pin, or tie up.
So you can just go straight to
So
a
I can
damage
just
roll.
tie you up.
injure,
I don't need to
move.
pin
Do
first.
do you have to actually make another grapple check to make that happen?
I just made the grapple check because I was the grappler.
Yeah.
That when
Okay,
said I'm in
because you're the
control,
initiator.
I'm tying you up with
Yeah.
my rope. Defender is pin. Yeah,
Is that this
no,
round or
I've
next
got to
round?
pin you. I've got to pin you.
Okay. All right. I acquiesce to your rules.
So you
page.
lose any dexterity bonus to armor class, and is not.
Oh dear.
Attacker is not considered flat-footed.
So does my armor class increase?
No, well, maybe. So at that point, I
My
was
dex
flat-footed.
penalty is gone.
We are both flat-footed at this point.
All right. Reginald,
Okay.
you are large. You are
I'm
strength.
large,
you
I'm
have
bull strength.
you
I've
have
had
the
my
balls
Red Bull.
of a bull.
That's right. I am roided right up. So like I am flexing like I'm about to burst. So with all this newfound strength and energy, again, we're going to do a flurry. I'm
You're
going to
about
come.
the size of Miles now.
Yes, right. The body dysmorphia? What's going on? Going to come in first of all with a straight front elbow to the midriff.
Ooh.
For a, I got the +2 on that, so that is a 19 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, and we get, oh, fantastic, another 5 points of damage. So as that one lands, Reggie then switches around. So he comes in with the front elbow and then over the back, like kind of a back spin for another elbow to the face of the statue. That is for an 18 to hit.
That hits.
Fuck this dice. That's 4 points of damage.
Hey, Luke, describe it.
Okay, so comes in with that front elbow, bang, straight into the midriff. This big crack just creaks straight up to the top of the statue. And as he spins around and does the extra elbow to the front of the face of the statue, the head just explodes into dust across the room.
And the statue falls backwards, hits the floor, and crumbles into piece after piece after piece after piece after piece after piece.
Thank you,
However,
Mrs. Health.
Death blow.
However, as you are looking through the rubble of the statue, you can see, Reg, a fist-sized opal
Opal.
seems to have been at the center of this statue's core.
Hmm.
But you can't pick it up yet because it's still rounds. Flopsy! I saw Brett reaching for his paper then. Like he already has it.
Yeah, because I've got to preempt the inventory that I track on top of
for treasure.
2 characters.
He'd get 2
So
shares.
greedy.
Yeah, he needs 2 shares.
That's right. 3 shares. What?
What do you want 4 shares for?
4 shares. What do you want? $50?
$50. What do you want $20 for?
Flopsy's gonna go over and pick up Tia's sword
Mm-hmm.
that she had dropped to grapple,
it was going so well.
Yep.
and then cast mending on it.
Oh,
bullshit. Okay, so mending does some kind of hit point damage, doesn't it?
I think it's a
roll
1d8,
something?
right? Is it 1d8?
I don't know. It's your spell, mate. You're
Yeah,
the
but
one with all the rules today. Go get that poster off the wall.
I reprinted my thing, and because I reprinted my spell sheet, but none of the names of the spells came out because I got no color in their color print.
So it came out white, did it? On white paper.
I've got the description of the spell, but not the spell. I had to write the spell and everything. Oh, there it is. Repairs damage object. 1d4 hit points to the object.
Ooh.
Do you remember how much damage it took?
Yeah, I do. 16
1d4.
points.
Oh, really?
3 points of
3.
healing.
The
on
Reggie
that-
3
on
is
that
getting
sword.
around.
But it's a
Okay.
cantrip, so, you know.
So the object begins its healing process. What are you going to do? Well, you move action, pick it up.
Move and
then-
spell.
Yep, and spelled it out. That brings us to the one remaining enemy. Now, this enemy is having a great time because it's fucking pinned, and the only thing it can do is kick out, I think.
You can either attack with a...
No, I'm pinned. I've got to actually control the grapple before I can do anything, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Once you're pinned, you got to try and regain.
And you know what, Tia?
Yeah.
You got me. You got me down. You got me in a pin. You-
You got him.
I'm looking for Reggie to slap the floor 3 times.
You pin me right round, baby. Right round.
Awesome. Love it. Yep. Good.
I was trying to think of all the things I could think of that would work there. Miles, what are you going to do? That's you're on this side. I looked at Brett and said Miles.
Just trying to think of a lot of
Lindsay,
things and got
you
to...
run Miles. What's happening? Oh, can I just say I just noticed your shirt, Lindsay. A dot to dot of the Millennium Falcon.
Isn't
you
it a
should-
star constellation?
You should see the back.
That's so cool.
It's got even more.
Oh, why is it cut out? Gross. Just at the tramp stamp.
I'm going to cackle. Told you, Reg, I got you. Go kill the other one now.
You doing anything else?
No.
It's a move action, Cackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stand it. Cast spell.
Nah.
Do some mending.
Can I pick up the opal for a standard?
No, because you got to go near combat. You're too close to combat.
Double move.
You can't
Why not?
because you've already done standard action.
No, he said he did a move action.
Yeah, mate, I've done move action.
Yeah, you say you've only got one move out. You've been reading Pathfinder 2 rules too much. You only get 2 things.
Yeah. but
I've
can't
had
I
two,
use my
3
standard
things.
action to do a move as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use my standard action to move.
Oh, I thought when you said double move,
Yeah.
you meant move
Another
twice.
Yeah, I
double
use my
move,
move
yeah.
action to cackle and then I standard action to move.
Yep, so you
to
start
the opal.
moving around. No, but it's what I'm saying is the opal is within combat right
Didn't
now.
you
but-
kill it?
Yeah, but the other one's right next to it.
Oh,
So
whatever.
it's being
Pinned.
grappled.
It's pinned. It's,
So
you
yes.
cannot take
But
attacks
all I'm
opportunity.
saying is if it flies out of pin,
I move
and
towards the
bucks
opal.
it. Yeah, you can definitely get there. All right. I made that more complicated than necessary. Apologies.
Awesome. Nothing new there, Justin.
Yeah. Well, what you've done here is you've moved over rubble. I'm just going to need you to make some kind of a trip check.
I'm fed up with you guys bogging us down in rules when we're in combat.
Fine, then I cast Hex and Fly and fly
Grapple.
there.
All right. Everyone heard that he cast a spell.
That was a Hex.
We are in round number 8. TR.
Tia's going to now make a control the grapple check.
Mm-hmm.
And does.
Mhm.
I'm not even going to ask because I know what's going on. And now I'm tying you up, and I do, and you're tied up, and you've got to make a escape artist or a grapple check equal to 20 plus my CMB.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you're pinned up, tied up on the floor.
Okay.
Like a hog.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you have rope? How'd you get this magical rope?
Rope in my pack.
How'd you pull it out? Ah, doesn't have that on your rules list. Apparently, you just have a magical rope.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It says, Justin, attacker can use rope to tie up the defender, so I do.
Okay, it says the defender can buck out, so I do.
Doesn't say that.
Move action, you get it out, you tie the statue up. The statue squirming on the floor. I'm just going to make the roll because, natural 20s are things that aren't going to happen for me ever.
Do you get a chance to get out of the pin now? Do you?
Natural 20s don't work.
I know.
That even if it's natural 20 and it doesn't defeat it, it's not a thing.
Yeah, but I can still do a CMB 20 plus your CMD.
Isn't that when it's your go?
What would I need for
30.
that? For that. Perfect. Yeah. So it's just on the floor.
Can it ever break out?
Rumbling and rumbling and rumbling around.
Yeah.
So there is one more thing that it can do that you haven't. It can do a break check on the rope. So it doesn't have to untie the rope.
That would be an escape artist, right?
No, strength check. So the strength check on the rope.
That's the grapple process.
I broke him. He's not like grappled anymore. He's tied up. Different rule chart. Get that one off the wall. Moving on, Reg.
If the DC is higher than 20 plus the defender CMB, defender cannot escape even with a natural 20 on an escape check.
On an escape check, but not a strength check, though, right? To snap the bonds.
How many times am I wrapping it around? All of that shit. If you want to get into it, let's get into it. I'm just taking it on.
Rope has a hardness of 0.
It did all the things to do the thing. It's not like,
Don't worry, it's going to be dead before it can break
It's
out.
not like someone disarmed me and then I just pick up and hit you back.
And it's not like we can talk to it. It's a statue.
Break
How
DC
far away
for
am I?
rope. It's weird. I've got it
It's
right
got-
here
it's got
on my
rope for
GM
brains.
screen.
Can I 5 foot up to it? Am
Yep.
I that close to it? So I
Yep.
can do a full round action
Yep.
and do a... Yeah,
Yep.
I'm going to just go stamp.
Sorry, Miles is now in the way.
No, he's at the remains of the other one. That
Yeah,
had
which
the
was
opal.
right next to it. So now he's in the way. You wanted me to complicate it.
You're
I
moving
did.
at half speed over rubble.
I was
I'm
joking.
five
Yes, of
footing up
course
to
you
it
can
to-
put up to it.
do a
Just
stamp,
being an
stamp.
asshole.
He's got denied his dex to armor class, and his armor class is
They're
severely...
lady statues. Thank you. So let's get your gender bias
All right, so
away.
17 on the first stamp. Does that hit?
Oh, just.
-4 to armor class.
Here we go. 10 points of damage.
Is that with your sneak attack?
Oh, am I flanking?
Denied dex to armor class. Sneak attack.
I heard you say it.
Your
How
dex-
many times?
I know.
Does your dex dice go up with
14
damage?
points of damage. And the second stamp, getting a little excited now. Oh, gee. 19 to hit.
Just.
That's another 10 points of damage.
And that is tier style damage.
On that second stamp, the thing just explodes in a puff of dust.
Wow. You like
Reggie mad!
That is my rope. Can I have my rope,
you
please?
fully American History X this statue. Stomp and twist. Has anyone here seen Argyle yet?
Yeah.
There's a
Stop
whole
and twist.
scene in Argyle where they're
Wait,
teaching.
hang on, has that not gone to cinema?
The-
Where did Argyle? Has that gone to...
Yeah, it's at cinema.
Oh.
You can also rent it as
Yeah.
well. So you don't have to go out to see movies anymore.
sad.
Sometimes you can just pay for them from the comfort of your own home so your family can watch it for one cost.
Can I
I'd rather
interrupt?
go out and watch one in the cinema and get my popcorn fleshlight.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Someone else is going to, oh, do you just do it to yourself?
Quick, you've got 5 minutes to destroy as much stuff as you want.
right up the buttery.
There was a list of the top 10 paid actors, and then on the top of the list was an actor that didn't have a theatrical release. It was all through Netflix. Adam Sandler. He earns more money for more money than anyone else, more money than Barbie as a producer, all of that stuff, just by his Netflix releases. $100 million a year.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Wow. He is prevalent on Netflix.
Well,
Like he does release
Netflix
a lot.
went.
He
We don't
produced
need.
and directed a movie
We
with
don't
his
need
daughter in it.
theatrical releases. We just
Yeah.
need you to put it out because people love the Sandler and they
They
will
do.
watch it. And it's
They do.
40 million hours of viewing or something on his movies.
And I gotta say-
and they've renewed the deal because it's a great deal for them.
I vaulted the deal.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm halfway through Adam Sandler's Spaceman, the movie. Have you seen that's on Netflix? Yeah, I may not watch the rest.
I have heard he's making a Happy Gilmore too.
Oh my word!
Happier Gilmore.
I am happy Gilmore about that. That sounds amazing to me. Love that movie. Early
too.
Adam Sandler is amazing. Billy Madison's one of my favorite movies.
She didn't go and come back. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. All right. So you pick up an opal.
And
Would you
my
like
rope.
to do
Was
an
that, sorry, was there another
appraise
apple on the
check?
second one or not?
Yes.
I can
Would
do
you
it.
like to do an appraise?
Flopsy can do an
check?
appraise if you like.
Yeah.
Can we both appraise and see who's more appraising?
Does
See
Tia,
who-
does Tia
who's
come
above
up
the
to me
dough?
and go, the sun's getting real low.
Yeah. Hello, big fella.
17.
26.
Hey,
You think that this opal has got cracks and flaws in it. It's worth about 75 GP. Flopsy, you correctly think it's worth 250.
Each
you
one.
sell it
Each
then,
one.
Each
if
one.
you think it's worth that much.
Is anyone going to?
You sell it if you think it's only worth that much if somene's going to pay that much.
At auction, it might go on a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
Flopsy, that's not. No, I'm Flopsy. Yeah. Well, got me all tizzied up, Miles.
Yeah. Are you guys doing anything
That's
else?
not a floor. That's a faucet. Faucet. Floor. Oh, damn it.
So,
Flopsy keeps mending on a sword.
Yep. So Flopsy continues the round after round.
Yeah.
While Flopsy's mending Tia's sword, is TR, Reg, Miles, how long is this Reginald?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, apparently.
All of it?
Mm.
Yeah, nice. Minute per level. Are you going to just probably chill out here for 5 minutes?
I'm too busy looking down my trousers.
We're going to door number 1, Justin.
Oh, same size. You had a massive cock. You had a massive cock
That's-
before.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the problem with roids, isn't it? It just makes it smaller.
All right. So what are you doing?
Shall we keep looking while you're big?
Let's get through that door. You don't get stupider. There's nothing on
And
your...
it's no modifier on my intelligence.
That's my mutagen that does that.
Yep. Lead the way, Big Reg.
Okay.
Good.
You guys not going to do any detect magic on the opals or not?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Later. That's it. Come on, through the door while you've got
Through
the
the door,
thing
here we
going.
go.
While you
Okay.
know,
Flopsy's
juice.
walking and spelling at the same time. He can multitask. You get to a door with a wooden sign upon it that reads, Scriptorium, quiet, please.
I kick the door in.
You kick the door in,
How
making a
very dare you? Come on, it says
making
quiet.
a cacophony of noise. And you open yourself into the scriptorium. This dark and vaulted chamber serves as a scriptorium, which obviously we all know what it is.
This scriptorium is a scriptorium.
Where texts
Has been cleverly disguised as a scriptorium.
from the archives next door may be read or copied at leisure. I shouldn't have read the archives next door because you haven't been there. But guess what's next door?
Scriptorium?
Other scriptorium.
Too rubbly
Yeah. So
things.
you see bare wooden shelves, empty except for some extra writing supplies, sheets of parchment, bottles of ink and quills. They line the eastern wall. There are 3 desks with high stools that stand in the center of the room between 6 columns. And again, there is another door to the south that says Archives Private. The other thing you notice, if you make a perception check that is high enough, go.
Probably not. Actually, 13 because I am alerted.
Oh.
I have alertness now.
Flopsy's going to pick up and replace some parchment that he just used to scribe some scrolls onto and top up his ink well.
Okay, gentlemen, what did we get
And
for
Tia.
our perceptions? And lady,
And a fairy.
Reg got a 19.
19,
11.
11
Miles.
for Miles.
Tia was a 7 and Flopsy's at 27.
Okay, Tia was a 7 and a 27. The first thing that you guys notice, so you're looking at the desks, the 2 northern desks each contain a small empty candelabra and 2 bottles of dried ink and old quills. The southern desk has been used a little more recently. The candelabra holds the stubs of half-burnt candles that have been recently snubbed out, you think. Ink bottles are still wet and the fresh ink stains the quill pens. You can see a handful of books and scrolls that are sitting upon this desk that you could possibly look at. You also spy a bit of parchment that seems like it is it has fallen beneath the same desk and sort of just wafted a little bit to the side, like a parchment that's flown to the ground. So you can see another piece of paper on the floor. And as you're looking at the floor, it's really interesting because in the southwest corner, still clutching a club, its legs eaten away by acid, is a corpse showing signs of putrefaction. Patches of mold on its skin, a broken lantern next to it, oil spilled on the floor, and a uniform, much like some of the other uniforms you've seen in the Black Ross
Museum guard.
guards.
So putrefied,
As in, like,
not,
been around.
not petrified.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been there a while and it's got no legs.
Mm-hmm.
And eaten off legs or acided off legs?
It
Or
looks like acid.
Well, that's not good. And can I... Flopsy's going to walk.
Now, and just as you walk over, just written in next to it in the oil and in the finger, it says, "Fuck you, Miles." It's weird.
Oh.
It's "Fuck you, Miles." I don't know where that comes from.
This must have been one of those sages that can see into the future.
How fucking rude. Like, I'm getting down here hopefully to save him. He's writing
Look,
rude things
on
about
the
me.
upside, your fame precedes you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Flopsy's going to walk up to the desk first
Yes.
and look at the writings in the paper and
Yep.
see what's on the floor.
You pick them
what
up
books
one
they
by
are.
one. So first you look upon the desk and
He
the
doesn't-
writings
he
that are
doesn't-
upon them. And as you flip over and looking through them, the thing that you see is that they are all treatises on the solar system and the empty space beyond, which really tweaks your interest immediately. You recognize this immediately. Underlined passages in margins written in Assyriani say something. Do you have a linguistics check by any chance?
No, Reg does not.
Or does anyone speak Assyriani?
Oh, no.
Linguistic.
Flopsy can't do linguistics and doesn't have a Siriani.
Mm-hmm. Anyone have linguistics or an ability to decide?
Can you do an
that?
intelligence check to try and figure it out? Or it's too far outside of like a whole language just on intelligence is too tricky, right?
Yeah, it's a whole
It's not a-
language. You're looking at it, and I guess you kind of make out that it's something to do with the solar system and the empty space beyond. But it's
Much
in
like the
Assyriani.
books.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
I
these are
just
the
said that to be an asshole.
these are the notes taken from the books that are there.
Very much so. I will give you one word that you do recognize. Ralzaros.
Oh.
So perhaps at this point, it might tweak your interest, and of course you can pocket those things. The parchment that you pick up off the floor,
Yep.
looks like it's been knocked off again in Assyriani. It contains a lot more scrolls. It's not a piece of paper with margins that have got notes in it. However, this time there are sketches and diagrams of what looks like a portal or a gate of some sort. You also see a canister which looks like a scroll case with squiggles on it, looking like different types of runes. This matches what Nigel Aldane would have described to you as the scroll case that he saw with a certain young lady who came in here.
Mm. Well,
Again, if you have a linguistics check, you can also uncover the... Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
while Flopsy's kind of looking through them.
Mm-hmm.
Cinder, take a lap around the room with Detect Evil on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And-
good.
And she does that indeed. She reports to you zero kind of ideas of evil.
She's apparently got Detect Evil and Detect Good as constant, but that seems really boring as a constant effect. So
Yeah. Does not detect anything.
But if you want it to be constant, you can just tell me whenever something's evil or good.
I'll forget. You know,
These aren't magical writings, right?
no, they're
normal.
just mundane. They're straight out of the ink, quills, and pens, writing, normal things. It's times like this when you think, what would somebody who liked knowledge in geography be like? What was knowledge in linguistics when I was picking my knowledges? Where were some things that could be useful in my adventuring
What
career?
about knowledge local?
Knowledge local will tell you fuck all in this situation.
Knowledge engineering?
I got knowledge history.
And you know what else is fuck all? The time that we have left for this
Ah,
episode. So we're going to meet up again soon, my friends.
Oh, that was good.
I love a library. You did really well with
I was quite impressed once we
Yeah.
got the second spell in there.
I'm interested to see what Reggie's like. Let's get through this whole like 2-hour dungeon while in 5 minutes. Reggie should just run straight ahead. Just grab everything, kite it all
I'll
back.
be like the Hulk going through the air carrier when he's trying to get Thor, just through all the pipes and everything.
I was
Is it
literally
the
about,
solo man?
I was literally about to say, go to open the next door while Flopsy's reading.